Having completed the 43 shlokas of chapter 3, let us summarize by covering the key points covered in the Karma Yoga chapter. Importance of action. Shri Krishna emphasizes the inevitability of action, and he further expands the concept by talking about the glory of selfless action, that is, action without attachment. He talks about the greatness of kings like Janaka who practiced Karma Yoga and led by example. He also talks about yajnas or sacrifices, explaining why yajnas need to be done by people to ensure the world order. Another key point explained is how people act as per their innate nature, and how ordinary persons like us can overcome the nature and become spiritual by surrendering our actions to God. Towards the end of chapter 3, Arjuna asks a question: what drives a person to commit sins? And in reply, Sri Krishna explains how kama, that is desire, is a starting point. The Lord explains how one can overcome kama and krodha, the twin enemies that impel us to commit sins and progress in the path of spirituality. At the very outset of the third chapter, that is Karma Yoga chapter, Arjuna asks the Lord, if jnana is superior to action, then why mislead me and ask me to engage in this ghastly war? Tell me that one path which will give me shreyas, that is greatness. Tell me that one path which will be beneficial to me. In reply, Lord Krishna says, Lokesmin Vivida Nishta Pura Prokta Mayanaga Jnana Yogena Sankyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. Shri Krishna replies, in this world, two types of sadhana or disciplines or paths have been proclaimed by me. For people who have an inclination for philosophy and contemplation, Sankhya Yoga is prescribed, and Karma Yoga for people who are inclined to action. Depending on the innate nature, a person is free to choose any path. Both the paths lead to the same destination, that is moksha. So, in this Karma Yoga chapter, in this Karma Yoga Adhyay, Lord tells extensively about the importance of action. He says that action is fundamental to life. He says, Nahi kashchit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya karmakrit karyate hyavashak karma sarva prakriti jair gunaihi. Meaning, none can remain inactive even for a moment. Kshana is moment. So, kashchit kshanamapi, even for a moment, one cannot remain inactive. Driven by their prakriti, that is their innate nature, people involuntarily are drawn towards action. And then Krishna further tells, Niyatam kuru karma, tvam karma jyayo hya karmanaha, sharira yatra picha tena prasiddhyeda karmanaha. That is, do your prescribed duties as instructed by Shastras, for action is superior to inaction. Abstaining from action, you cannot maintain even your physical body. A person who controls his senses and begins the Karma Yoga practice is superior. Mere renunciation of action will not give siddhi. A sannyasi who outwardly controls his senses but allows his mind to wander is a hypocrite. A sincere Karma Yogi is definitely superior to a fake sannyasi. So Krishna advises all of us to perform our prescribed duties as per the Shastras without any attachment, without any interest in the fruits of action. Shri Krishna instructs Arjuna to fight, to uphold dharma, to fight for a higher purpose without attachment to results. And he says that this would help Arjuna to be from karma bandhana. Further, Shri Krishna also instructs Arjuna to practice his own swadharma, that is Kshatriya dharma in Arjuna's case. Arjuna wanted to give up Kshatriya dharma and become a mendicant. To this, Krishna says that even death while performing your swadharma is blessed, but doing another's duty is fraught with fear. The Lord then tells Arjuna how great kings like Janaka were role models. These great kings performed their karma without any attachment, and they were followed by their citizens. So Arjuna, too, as a royal prince, needs to be a role model by leading through action. The Lord himself acts. He works tirelessly with commitment and people follow him, others follow him. The Lord says, न मे पार्थास्ति कर्तव्यं त्रिषु लोकेषु किञ्चन नानवाप्तमवाप्तव्यं वर्त एवेच कर्मणि. In this shloka, the Lord says that I do not have any duty to perform in Trishu Lokas, in all the three worlds. Yet I act. For if I do not act, people will follow me and great harm will come to the world. It will slip into chaos. The world would slip into chaos. Shri Krishna further says that great saints should not confuse a common man who works through by giving elaborate philosophical discourses. Instead, great people, wise people should be role models and motivate the ignorant who work towards action without attachment. Shri Krishna then explains the importance of doing yajnas by explaining the cosmic cycle of sacrifices. In the beginning of creation, Prajapati created mankind and yajnas as well. And he blessed the human saying, "Be thou happy by doing yajnas which will bestow all desirable things on you. Foster the devatas through yajnas and they will bless you with prosperity." Explaining the cosmic order of yajnas, Shri Krishna says, Annad bhavati bhutani parjanyat anna sambhavaha yajnat bhavati parjanyah yajnah karma samudbhavaha karma brahmodbhavam viddhi brahmakshara samudbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yajne pratishtitam. In this shloka, the Lord says that all beings sustain because of food, and food production depends on rain. Rain ensues from yajnas, which is rooted in the prescribed duties. Further, the Lord tells that prescribed duties are given in the Vedas, which have emanated from Lord Vishnu, the Supreme, and hence the Supreme God is present in sacrifices. All persons must therefore perform yajnas to sustain this cycle. Those who fail in performing yajnas, they disrupt the cycle. Also, those who consume resources without offering to them to God are thieves. The man who does not follow the cycle thus he is a sinner, rejoicing in sensual pleasures, and he lives in vain. Another important point emphasized in Karma Yoga chapter is about the role of the three modes of nature, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. These impact our actions. We are born with these innate gunas based on the past karmas. It is natural for us to act as per our nature. The ignorant thinks that he is a doer of actions and he faces miseries, he suffers sorrows. The wise, on the other hand, who are aware of the divisions of work, are detached and do not engage in the senses. It is a challenge to overcome these gunas, and hence the Lord advises us to surrender our actions to Lord Krishna, the Supreme God, with single-minded focus and devotion, without any desire for the fruits of action and without any egoism. After listening to all of Lord Krishna's advice on instructions on Karma Yoga, Arjuna has a doubt. He asks the Lord, what mysterious force drives us to commit sins even unwillingly? To this the Lord replies, Kamayesha krodayesha rajo guna samudbhavaha mahashano mahapapma vidyena miha vairinam. In this shloka, the Lord replies to Arjuna's question by saying that it is kama, that is desire, that which has its roots in rajoguna, which manifests as anger, which is insatiable and wicked, which are the twin enemies that drive a person to commit sins. Kama desire veils knowledge, just as mirror is covered by dust or the brilliant fire is covered by smoke. This is a Nitya Vairi, everlasting foe of the wise, that obstructs a man's spiritual progress. With the senses, mind, and intellect as its seat, it acts on all external stimuli and dilutes the Jivatma. Talking about the hierarchy of the elements of action and perception, the Lord says that the senses are superior to the body, the mind to the senses, the intellect to the mind, and the Atma to the intellect. The Lord recommends two paths to kill Kama, the everlasting foe. Control the senses first and kill Kama, for it is better to kill desire at that point where it is the gateway for all stimuli. Lord Krishna also suggests that knowing that Atman is greater than intellect, control the mind through reasoning, control the mind, and through reasoning kill the formidable enemy which is Kama. So these are some of the points. In conclusion, chapter 3, that is Karma Yoga, offers invaluable wisdom on the importance of action, selfless action, importance of yajnas or sacrifices, the need to control senses and refrain from falling for desires to lead a more meaningful and purposeful life as a Karma Yogi. In the next video, we would move to chapter 4, Jnana Karma Sanyasa Yoga, which is in continuation of the Karma Yoga Adhyay, that is chapter 3, provides further insights on Karma Yoga, selfless action. It discusses the glory of the Supreme Lord, the purpose of avatars, Lord Vishnu's incarnations, the conduct of yogis and sages, and their glory. Different forms of sacrifices are also described in this chapter. The forms of sacrifices with their fruits of action. And finally, the glory of knowledge also is discussed in chapter 4. Thank you.